Hey everyone, how are you doing? Rosie here. I'm gonna see how this internet works because it wasn't great last time I'm on the balcony, which means that it's not great Wi-Fi. So let's see how it goes. So I want to answer one of the questions that came through from the last video I did, where I asked you what was holding you back on your business. And one person had asked, how do I find the time to work on my business? I'm in a busy period at work. I have a full-time job. I'm finding it hard to actually dedicate time to keep going, to keep working on the business. So that's what I want to talk about today, because even though I've obviously run my business full-time now for coming up, actually over 3 years, wow, over 3 years. I started off, I had a full-time job. I was initially in a startup, and then I actually moved back to banking, and I was working in banking, commuting an hour and a half a day, and still made it happen. So it's definitely feasible and possible for you to do the same. And what's really important when you are trying to find time is to be realistic with yourself, but also make it happen, right? Like, nobody's telling you you need to work 5 hours a day on your business if you're already working 12 hours a day in a job. Like, it's just not really going to happen. But if you can find 90 minutes or 60 minutes or even 30 minutes, that would be enough. That would keep you going. The key here, the real key here, is consistency. So if you have been kind of stopping and starting, and maybe you do like an hour one day, nothing for the next 3 days, 3 hours at the weekend, like just really chopping and changing all the time, like, let me know in the comments, like stick a 1 in the comments, because it's really tough to get any kind of momentum going when you have that chopping and changing. So there's 2 main ways that you can find time. I'm assuming that your lunch break kind of doesn't exist if you're a normal office worker. Otherwise, a lunch break would be a great one too. But the first option is that you can do it in the morning. You can wake up early. And for most people, that sounds absolutely horrendous. I am a morning person. I wouldn't say I'm a 6 a.m. morning person. I'm like an 8 a.m. morning person. But actually, I find way more energy in the morning than in the evening. So even if I were, if I normally woke up at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. for my job, I would have got up at like 5 or 6 instead. And even though 5 a.m. sounds horrible, like even right now, I wake up at 6 most days, 6:30, sometimes 7. And actually, it's really nice because you get such a start on the day. It feels like the morning is so much longer. You have so much more time to accomplish stuff. And the benefit of working in the mornings on your business before you go to your job is that you're giving your business your most vital, most energetic time. For me, at least. I know some people are, night owls and whatever, but that's not really the case for me. So if you can give your business your morning time, your most rested, most thoughtful time, then you're going to obviously be more productive and get more done and be more efficient and more effective in that hour versus an hour at like 11 o'clock at night. So what would you be willing to do? Would you be willing to wake up an hour earlier? If you could get into the rhythm, and obviously waking up an hour earlier means going to bed an hour earlier. Like, you've got to get the right amount of sleep as well. So just being conscious that you can't just like watch, back-to-back episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians until midnight if you want to wake up at 5 or 6 in the morning. Like, make sure you're getting your 7-8 hours of sleep, of course, as well. So that's one option, is to just do an hour in the mornings. Even if it's at 5 a.m., even if it's at 6 a.m. I had a client once who would come online at 5 a.m. because her kids weren't up yet. It was just an easier time for her, just worked better for her. So obviously I was in Europe and she was in the States, so that kind of worked. On my timeline too, it was kind of midday-ish kind of time for me. And you can do that. That works. Once you get into that rhythm, the main issue with getting up early is that people tend to go to bed too late and then they're too tired. So if you can actually sleep enough, you'll wake up feeling refreshed and you'll have so much more time ahead of you. Now, some people are night owls, or they just, if you're a trader or something, you start work insanely early. Like, I totally get that. The other option is you can do it in the evening. So the main issue we have with evening work is not that we don't have time. I think the average American watches 4 hours of TV a day. Can you imagine? I'm sure the Europeans are, pretty close to that as well. So it's not a question of time. Like, everyone has the hours in their day. It's a question of energy. or perceived energy. So, you go to work and people are annoying all day, and you come home on the commute and it's like, the packed train, or you're stuck in traffic or whatever it is that you're doing, and you arrive home and you're just like, oh, you're just exhausted and annoyed and grumpy and whatever else, and you're hungry and you want dinner. So the main issue is your mood, not the time. Like, you probably get home at, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night. Like, you have 3-4 hours until you need to sleep again. So how can you change that mood? How can you shift into a different energy? That's the main question that's going to help you. And to do that, well, first of all, I would recommend a little bit of light exercise. Like, you've probably been sitting at the office rather, all day, like static, not moving, or you've been standing on the train or whatever else, sitting in your car. So if you can cycle or walk home, like if that's feasible for you, if you live in the city, then do that, go for it. If you could go for a couple of, walks around the block just before you come, into your front door, do that. If you can get home and stick on a yoga YouTube video and just stretch a little bit, do a little bit of yoga, it'll just get your blood flowing again and just wake you up a little bit. Obviously, if you pound the pavement home and sort of run home for 5 miles, you'll probably be more tired than not. But light exercise, that's the first thing. The second thing is to breathe properly, like take deep breaths, reoxygenate your body. We tend to be very unconscious about the way that we breathe, and it's so powerful when you take some really deep breaths and, not completely hyperventilate, but just be conscious of actually taking air into your body and breathing it out, and just do that like 10, 20 breaths. You'll feel so much better, so much more alert, because you reoxygenated your brain. And then the third element is to potentially meditate. Like, if you're in a bad mood, if you have emotional stuff going on, like your boss was mean to you, or you have annoying colleagues, or there's like office politics, or like whatever it is, like people were smashing into you on the tube home, like whatever it was, just clear your mind, clear your thoughts, meditate a bit, like allow yourself to kind of create a clean slate before you move into the next stage of your day, which for you would be working on your business. Like, don't bring all that negative energy into the business. So if you can find ideally 60 minutes a day, like if you're like totally crazy right now, 30 minutes a day, like anyone can create 30 minutes a day. Wake up at 5 a.m. if you have to. Start, if you've got kids and everything else, like maybe you have to work on your business at 9 p.m. once they've gone to bed, or whatever you need to do, just find that slot of time and commit to that slot of time. Every single weekday you're working on your business. If you do that, that's 5 hours a week. Do you realize how much you can get done? How much you can build your business in even like 3 months doing 5 hours a week? It's going to make such a difference to you. And to recommit first of all, your priorities, to really make your business your priority. So you're not maybe going to your boxing class, or you're saying no to your friends for drinks during the week, or, you ask your husband to cook dinner, or whatever it needs to be, or flatmates, or whoever it is that you live with. Or you pre-prep food for the week. Like, you make it your priority that you're creating that time for yourself. That's number one. And then the second thing is that you don't allow all the drama of life to change you off that path. So if you're in a really bad mood, or you're feeling tired or whatever, you don't let that story dictate your life. You say, no, I'm going to do the yoga, or do the breathing, or do the meditation, or whatever I need to get me out of that state and into a productive state, and use that time and not just waste it streaming crappy TV, which isn't going to get you anywhere. Because it's your responsibility to take control of your life. If you want to get out of your job, it's not going to happen unless you take that control. You've got to take the control of your life. You've got to start saying, okay, this is not good for me. I need it because I need to pay my mortgage right now, but I'm going to make it happen and recreate that income elsewhere in my online business, and be able to get myself out of this career which I'm not happy and it's no longer serving me. And that's what you need to do. Like, you're in control of this, and you can do it. All of my clients, I think I did a survey of them a few months ago. It was like 96% of my coaching clients, who are all building businesses online, they all have full-time jobs. 96% of them have full-time jobs. And the ones who didn't have full-time jobs were, like stay-at-home mothers with young babies, or something like that, where have their hands full as well. So this is really, really possible for you. You've just got to make the commitment and prioritize. So I would love for you to, share this video if you think it's helpful, to leave me a comment, let me know how you found it, what you learned. And if you've got other questions on business building as well, leave me a comment, and I will catch you guys really soon. Bye for now.